Hey, beautiful, please consider subscribing to our channel if you've been enjoying these stories. Your support helps a lot. Aid us in reaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers.
The sky above the salvage yard was a permanent gray like ash smeared across steel. Gareth Knox wiped his brow with the back of a gloved hand and stared at the husk that lay before him. 50 tons of alien alloy and bone-colored plating lay half in the dirt like some long-dead titan collapsed mid-scream. He stepped forward alone. The other mechanics had already backed away, muttering warnings and superstitions about cursed tech and failed mines. Gareth didn't blame them. The thing pulsed faintly under the desert wind like it was breathing. The hum that came off it wasn't mechanical, it was like it resonated inside his spine. "You sure you want this one?" said LT Rourke. Behind him, Gareth didn't turn around. "Got to earn my cut." That thing fried 6 other mechs with no weapons online. Cooked the nervous systems of 2 pilots, burned them from the inside. You ever seen a body with its eyes boiling from the inside out? I have, and that was weeks after it went cold. Gareth crouched beside the machine. "Yeah, I heard the stories, but no one's taken it apart yet. Could be salvageable." Rourke's boots crunched behind him, then stopped. "Salvageable is not the word I'd use, but suit yourself. Just don't make me write your next of kin." The lieutenant turned and left. Gareth waited until he was gone before placing his hand against the Guardian's surface. It was smooth like polished obsidian, yet strangely warm. The hum rose in pitch. He didn't flinch. His fingers followed the seam. Lines etched into the armor until they brushed against a panel. It clicked. Then it opened. Inside was not circuitry. Not entirely. There were strands that looked like nerves. Wrapped around black crystal, he reached in carefully and connected his diagnostic probe. The tablet he carried buzzed to life. Data flooded the screen. None of it human-readable. Until the alien code shifted. The lines twisted, reordered, rewrote themselves in front of him. And then in pale green text, the screen displayed one word, Gareth. He froze. The wind howled across the yard. He looked around. No one. He looked back down. The tablet now displayed a schematic, a detailed map of the machine's internals. It highlighted what looked like a central neural core, and just below it a chamber marked in red. "Cognitive cockpit not possible," Gareth muttered, but the symbols next to the label were unmistakably human letters. He followed the schematic and found a hatch concealed beneath armor plating near what might have once been the mech's sternum. It was locked with an alien glyph. "Let me in," Gareth whispered. The glyph shimmered, then dissolved. The hatch slid open with a hiss of pressure release. Inside was a cradle, part mechanical, part organic. Wires like veins, a chair like a ribcage, a canopy of bone and glass, and at its center, a socket shaped, exactly like the neural plug-in. Gareth's suit. He stepped back. The machine was waiting. No, not the machine, the Guardian. The last time Gareth had been in combat was the siege of Delta. Breach a screaming hell of fire, an atmospheric collapse. His squad was wiped out in under a minute. His brother Leo had dragged him to cover, only to die seconds later from shrapnel to the neck. Gareth never forgot the sound he made trying to breathe with his windpipe gone. He hadn't touched military tech since. He'd taken this job on the outskirts because no one asked questions, because the silence let him sleep. But this thing, this Guardian, it wasn't just tech. It wasn't just salvage. It was alive, and it had called his name. That night Gareth camped beside the mech. He brought out a welding torch and began peeling away layers of damage. He found pulse conduits and compressed power cores, bioreactive fibers coiled around unknown processors. He didn't sleep, he didn't eat, he worked. Each layer revealed more complexity, more intentional design. This was no drone, no warbot. It had a spine, a heart, a brain, and each part pulsed a little faster the closer he got to the cockpit. 3 days passed. By then the others stopped coming near his camp. Rourke dropped supplies from a drone, left messages on encrypted channels. Gareth ignored them. Because on the 3rd night, the Guardian spoke again, this time aloud. "Gareth Knox." He dropped his tool. The voice echoed from deep within the mech. "Your hands are steady. Your mind is fractured. But your blood remembers." Gareth swallowed. "You can talk now." The voice paused. Double quotes. "Yes, I am rebuilding." "You are assisting." He looked up at the canopy. "How do you know my name?" "You were chosen. Long before your world burned." "Chosen for what? For resonance? For alignment? For war?" "I'm not a soldier anymore." "You never were." "But you will be." Gareth turned away. "You've got the wrong guy. I fix things. I don't fight you. Fight every night. In your mind. In your guilt. Your wounds are open. That is why I found you." He pressed his fists against his temples. "Stop. Just stop. You're a weapon. You shouldn't be talking like this. I was a Guardian. Now I am more. I was built to bond. To sync. To merge with the right host." Gareth took a breath. "I'm not merging with anything. I'm just trying to make you safe to dismantle. Salvage. Nothing more." Lie. The voice didn't shout. It didn't accuse. It stated, "You feel it. The pull. The call. Your blood hears the signal. Your brain shapes the patterns. This is not coincidence." He stepped back into the open air. The desert sky boiled. Overhead, that night the Guardian was silent, but the hum never stopped. The next morning, Gareth found the cockpit canopy half-dash, open an invitation. He stood there staring at it for a long time. Then, he turned away. He began packing up his tools. He couldn't do this, but as he reached for his comm unit to call Rourke, he heard something in the distance. Engines, fast, 3. Hovercrafts were approaching from the east ridge. Unauthorized, salvage. Pirates. He scrambled behind a broken engine nacelle and raised his scope. At least a dozen men. Heavily armed, they'd seen the Guardian. They were coming to take it. One of them stepped forward, scarred, bald, laughing. Looks like someone's already done the hard work, boys. They surrounded the mech. Step out, mechanic. We don't want to kill you. Just want the big prize. You woke up for us. Gareth didn't move. He eyed the open cockpit. The pirates were placing charges. Final warning, shouted the leader. Gareth's hand tightened on the neural plug. He ran, straight into the cradle. The canopy snapped shut, and the world turned. White, pain, light, sound, voices. His mind stretched, and then settled. The voice returned. Bond, established, and then the Guardian stood. 30 tons of armor and fury rose from the dirt, like a god reborn. The pirate screamed, and Gareth smiled. The silence after the battle was thicker than blood. The pirates were gone. Some fled, some vaporized. Their hovercraft smoldered in the dust and ash. The Guardian stood tall above it all, motionless but awake. Inside the cockpit, Gareth trembled. Against the neural interface as it slowly pulled back from his spine and skull, he gasped as air returned to his lungs. He felt like he had lived 1,000 years in a single moment. Images, memories, languages, none of them has flowed through his mind like a dream half-remembered. The cradle opened. He fell to his knees in the sand and threw up. You are compatible. The Guardian said from behind him. Thanks for the trauma, Gareth muttered as he wiped his mouth. You accepted the link. The pain was expected. You endured. I didn't have a choice. They were going to destroy you. They would have destroyed you first. You fought back. Gareth looked up at the towering form of the mech. Its surface gleamed faintly under the sun. Pieces of it were still regenerating. I don't even know what you are. I am Guardian Unit Designation. Solace 9. Created by the architects of Varn to defend the line. 100 units were forged. I am the last, the architects. You mean your creators? Yes. They are extinct. What happened to them? The mech was quiet for a long time. Then the voice returned. Softer. They were erased by the silencers. The enemy. The ones who consume stars and silence all who resist. My creators believed in sentience, emotion, bonding. The silencers believed in purity through stillness. A universe. Without noise, without will, and you were built to stop them, yes. But we failed. I failed. I was too late to save my pilot. My mind fractured. I went dormant. Until you, Gareth stood, and began inspecting the damage on the Guardian's legs. Plasma, scoring sheared joints, burnt stabilization rods, yet beneath the damage the structure was healing. Metal knitting with bone, fiber growing like muscle. You called me compatible. Why? Your biology aligns with the control matrix. Your neural patterns resonate with the Guardian core. You are not like others of your kind, Gareth laughed dryly. Because I'm broken, because you remember pain and choose to move forward. That is what made my creators strong. That is what may make you strong. He looked up at the mech again. You were made to bond. How does it work? This neural link, it is a merging of will. You control the body. I guide the action. You see with my eyes. I learn from your instincts. Alone we are powerful. Together we are adaptive, evolving, and if I refuse, then I sleep again. Until another comes. Or until the silencers find this world. And burn it. Gareth sat down on the edge of a broken hull. The wind carried the smell of smoke and scorched ozone. He felt the weight of the Guardian's gaze even though it had no visible eyes. What do you want from me? Really, to remember what I was? To fight again? To protect? I am not a weapon without a wielder. You don't get it? I left that life behind. I was a soldier once. I watched people I cared about die screaming. I watched my brother die holding my hand. I swore I'd never fight again, and yet you fought yesterday. Not because you wanted to, because you had to. Gareth didn't answer. The silence stretched. Finally he stood. I need answers. Real ones. What did you show me in the link? All those images, those stars, those voices. Was that your past partly? Partly your future? The link reveals potential. Possibility. I do not fully control it, but I can guide it, then guide me. Show me where this is going. What happens if I keep working with you? The Guardian's chest opened, and the interface projected a shimmering map into the air, a spiral galaxy, points of light blinking red, paths of warlike veins. These are the systems lost to the silencers. They move slowly, but with purpose. They hollow worlds, consume signals, erase civilizations. Earth has not yet drawn their gaze, but your species has begun to broadcast beyond its cradle. The time is short. Gareth stared at the map. How do you know they're coming? Because they always come. My creators believed they could hide. Others believed they could appease. Both were destroyed. Only those who stood and roared survived long enough to matter. You think humanity can stand against this? Not alone, but with me, with the other guardians, if any remain. You can become more than what you are. Gareth took a deep breath. All right. Say I help you. Say I bond with you. What happens to me? You evolve. The link becomes permanent. You begin to change. Physically, mentally, you will live longer, think faster, but you will no longer be entirely human. Gareth stepped away. So you want me to give up my identity? For what? A war I didn't start. You were born into a war you do not understand. Your kind believes peace is a default state. It is not. It is the exception. I offer you purpose. Gareth closed his eyes. Everyone wants something. Even machines' purpose is not desire. It is direction. He turned and stared into the cockpit. I don't want to be a hero. I just want to live, then live. But know this. The longer you hesitate, the less chance your world has. He looked up. Can you teach me? Can you show me how to use this power without losing myself? Yes. But only if you trust me, he sighed. Trust is hard, so is survival. The sun dipped low across the horizon. Gareth watched it cast long shadows across the wreckage. He thought of Leo, of the bunker, of the silence after the scream. Maybe he hadn't survived that day. Maybe only a shell had crawled out, but now something had reached into that shell and spoken his name, not as a soldier, not as a weapon, but as a partner. He stepped back toward the Guardian, reached out, touched the plating again. All right. One step at a time. You teach, I learn. No full bond yet. Just training. Agreed. The Guardian lowered itself slightly. The cockpit opened. A smaller interface extended from the cradle, less invasive, meant for shallow sinker if climbed in. The moment his fingers touched, the console light pulsed around him. Not overwhelming, controlled, clear images filled his mind. Techniques, movements, defensive systems, flight patterns, weapon configurations. Everything came with strange clarity. He exhaled slowly. Feels like breathing for the first time. You are adapting quickly. Guess I'm a fast learner, or always meant for this. The cockpit closed around him. Not like a cage, like a shell. Gareth moved his fingers. The Guardian mirrored the motion with Gracie, opened his eyes and saw through its sensors. Saw farther, clearer. He felt the ground like a pulse beneath his feet, then a warning lit up across his mind. Incoming transmission. Encrypted. Human military channel. Gareth blinked from who? Lieutenant Rourke. Priority code. Emergency request. He hesitated, then opened the channel. Gareth. Thank God. We picked up a signal spike from your coordinates. What happened? You all right? Yeah, more or less. We had company scavs. They're gone now. How gone? Very gone. Silence on the other end. And the mech. Gareth looked up at the stars through the Guardian's eyes. It's operational. Partially. Gareth, listen, there's more. Something just entered our system. Not a ship, not a rock. Something artificial. And it's transmitting. No one can read it. But it's not human. The Guardian's voice cut and it begins. Gareth gritted. His teeth. Patch me through. I want to hear it. The come filled with sound, not a language, not noise, a pattern, a rhythm of silence, and then one word spoken in every frequency. Silence. Gareth felt the chill creep down his spine. He looked up at the stars, then down at the world below. Guess I made my choice. The stars above the desert no longer looked silent. Gareth stood inside the cockpit staring at the sky through the Guardian sensors. The frequency still echoed in his skull, even though the signal had ceased. That single word had lodged itself in his bone. Silence. He turned to the Guardian. What was that? A warning? No. A declaration. Gareth sat down against the console. The hum of the Guardian pulsed beneath him. They know we're here, they suspect. They test for response. They listen for movement. The silencers hunt through resonance. Now they have heard you. He shook his head. You said this planet wasn't on their radar? It was not. Until now. Then, we triggered something. The pirates, maybe. Or me sinking with you. Yes. The link broadcast momentarily during bonding. A signal spike, not of this world. They noticed. Gareth rubbed his temples. How much time do we have? Hard to calculate. Days, maybe weeks. If their scouts are already close, perhaps less. Can you fight them alone? No. I am powerful but not invincible. The silencers adapt. They consume patterns. If we do not act, they will learn you and unmake you. Gareth stood and paced the cockpit. Then we need help. Others, the military, they will not understand. They will fear me, or try to control me. Human command structures are built on suspicion, not trust. Then we give them proof. Let me speak to Rourke again. The Guardian hesitated, then opened a channel. Rourke's voice cracked with static. Gareth, you picking this up? We just intercepted a pulse from deep orbit. Same signal as before, but stronger. I heard it too, Rourke. We need to meet you. Tell me when and where. Bring no one. Just you. You need to see something. There was a pause. Then a quiet reply. Understood. Sending coordinates by nightfall. A single dropship appeared above the dunes. Rourke stepped out, clad in light armor. His eyes scanned the landscape until they landed on the massive figure kneeling among the scrap heaps. The Guardian towered in silence. Its presence radiated something that felt more alive than most men. Rourke approached cautiously. You sure this thing's under control? It's not a thing. It's a guardian. And yes, as much as anything like this can be, you weren't lying. Damn, that thing's real. Rourke circled it once, then turned to Gareth. This signal. You think it's connected to the mech? I know it is. And it's not a mech. It's sentient. It speaks, thinks, remembers. Rourke frowned. Sentient alien war machine. I can't bring that back to command without being laughed out of the bunker. Then don't. Just listen. The signal isn't random. It's a scout pattern. Something is coming. The Guardian calls them the silencers. They wipe civilizations off the map. This isn't sci-fi. This is happening. Rourke rubbed the back of his neck. You've always been a bit off Knox, but I never pegged you for full crazy. Still, you took down a pirate crew solo with that thing. I'll listen. For now. The Guardian's voice rumbled from behind. The soldier must choose. Help fight or stay, and watch his world fade. Rourke stepped back. It speaks English. It adapts. Reads neural patterns. It learned from me. The lieutenant stared at Gareth. You bonded with it. Are you insane? That could melt your brain? It nearly did, but it also saved my life. And it showed me what's coming. Rourke crossed his arms. Let's say I believe you. What now? You think the brass will welcome this thing with open arms? No. I think they'll panic. Try to shut it down. Or use it as a weapon. But that's not why I called you then. Why? Because we need more. If there are other Guardians like this, we need to find them. Before the silencers do. The Guardian lowered its head. Unit Solus 9 was not alone. Others may still remain. Buried. Dormant, but they must be awakened carefully. Not all humans can bond. Most will fail. Some fatally. Gareth turned to Rourke. I need your help. Resources, scans, access to planetary archives, old impact sites, areas with strange magnetic readings, anything that might hide another Guardian. Rourke shook his head slowly, then sighed. God help me. I'm going to regret this. I'll do what I can. But we're flying blind here. And if command finds out, I'm running black ops with a relic from an alien war. They'll bury me under concrete. Then we stay ahead of them. This isn't about orders. This is survival. The Guardian extended an antenna array. Light flickered across the horizon. I have found a possible signal. Deep beneath the ruins of Novar Ridge. Buried under 500 meters of ice and steel. That's a dead zone, Rourke said sharply. Used to be a research colony. Abandoned after the core collapsed. Nothing but frozen tunnels and rusted labs. Gareth looked up at the mech. Then that's where we go next. Rourke gave a low whistle. You're serious? You want to fly into a ghost city to dig up another alien death machine? Not want, need. If we wait, we die by morning. They were airborne. The Guardian carried Gareth inside while Rourke flew overhead in the dropship. The journey was long and silent. Below them, mountains rolled like the backs of sleeping giants. Clouds drifted in lazy spirals. As the last light of day, Novar Ridge appeared like a scar in the world. Towers half submerged in ice, broken spires piercing the sky. The cold was biting, even through insulated gear. The Guardian touched down on a jagged platform that groaned under its weight. Gareth stepped out and felt the crunch of ice beneath his boots. He could hear the distant moan of metal deep in the chasm. Rourke landed beside him and activated his visor. This place gives me the creeps. The Guardian scanned the area. Signal is weak, intermittent. Below us, they descended through broken access tunnels. Old lights flickered. Ice coated everything. Strange symbols had been carved into walls. Some were human, others alien. Gareth brushed frost off a control panel. This colony didn't die from accident. Something came through here. Silencers, the Guardian said. Possible. Or something worse. They reached a chamber sealed behind thick alloy doors. The Guardian placed its hand against the surface. A pulse spread outward. The door groaned. Then opened. Inside lay another cradle, but it was shattered. The body inside was twisted, frozen in a final scream. A failed pilot? Human. The Guardian stepped forward slowly. This unit was activated too soon. Without proper alignment. The pilot was not compatible. Gareth knelt beside the body. He tried to bond without knowing the risk. Or he was forced, Rourke added. They explored deeper. Past the failed chamber, another cocoon lay dormant, undisturbed. The energy inside pulsed faintly. Waiting, the Guardian approached and extended a filament. This one sleeps. It has not bonded. It can be awakened. Gareth turned to Rourke. We'll need another pilot, not me. I like my brain unsinged. Then we find someone who can. Someone like me. That's a short list. Gareth touched the dormant Guardian. It was colder than death, yet he felt something deep inside. A heartbeat, a possibility. I don't care how short the list is. We find them. We wake this one. And we fight. Back. He turned to the Guardian beside him. What happens when two bonded Guardians sync? Amplification, coordination, harmony. We become more than some. We become chorus. And the silencers. Can they hear that too? Yes. And it terrifies them. Gareth smiled without joy. Good. The wind howled through the ruins far above. In orbit, a single dark object shifted against the void. It listened. It waited on for the first time in eons. It answered. The wind over Novar Ridge was screaming down, not a breeze but a full-throated howl that cut through the bones of the broken colony and rattled the metal husks of towers long dead inside. The dormant chamber, the second guardian pulsed faintly, its cocoon thrumming like a heartbeat behind a wall of ice and steel. Gareth stood before it, arms crossed, gaze steady. Rourke paced nearby, his jaw tight and eyes shifting to the flickering sensors on his wrist console. The signal's spiking again, Gareth. It's not just background noise. Something's coming. Fast. The guardian standing behind Gareth tilted its head. They are here. Gareth turned slowly. How many? Unknown. But I feel them. Like knives in fog, they seek patterns. They unravel thought. If we are not ready, we are lost. Rourke cursed under his breath. You want me to call in backup? I can get a strike team here in 6 hours. You won't have 6 minutes if they drop on us. Gareth said coldly. We need the second guardian awake. Now it has no pilot. Rourke snapped. Then we find one. He turned to the guardian. Is there a way to bypass the full sync? A partial link? Something that can stabilize it long enough to fight? The guardian paused. There is risk. Without a compatible pilot, the system may overload. But it may also awaken. Temporarily. Long enough to fight. Long enough to protect. Do it. Gareth said. Rourke stepped forward. You're gambling with a nuclear alien god machine that might explode and kill us all? I'd rather die trying than wait for the silencers to erase us. The guardian extended a thin filament into the dormant shell light. Began to flicker in the frozen cocoon. The metal shifted, groaned, flexed like muscle under skin. Energy surged. The second guardian stirred not, fully awake, but dreaming with eyes open. Rourke took a step back. That thing doesn't like us. It doesn't know us, Gareth said, but it knows fear. And it senses what's coming. The ground shook. Sound like thunder rolled across the ruins. Rourke checked his console. They're here. 3 bogies just broke Atma. No transponders. No human signature. They're moving like nothing I've seen. One's headed straight for us. The guardian raised its head. Then we stand. Outside, the sky burned. The first of the silencer constructs hit the ice with a soundless pulse that knocked both men to their knees. It wasn't shaped like anything that was wrong, tall and jagged like a sculpture made of razor blades and whispers. It hovered inches above the surface, pulsing with vibrations that made Gareth's teeth ache. Could feel it inside his mind, trying to peel him open. The guardian stepped forward, shielding Gareth with its massive body. The silencer reacted instantly. Lance of energy cracked the air, striking the guardian's arm. The armor hissed and peeled but held. The guardian's voice boomed with fury. You should not have come. The air distorted around them as both machines collided. The sound was thunder without rain, steel without soul. They struck like titans. Gareth watched from the shadows, heart pounding. Every blow from the guardian sent waves through the ice. The silencer was faster, more fluid, like mercury wrapped in malice. But the guardian had purpose. It fought not to destroy but to protect. Hand that gave it strength. The second guardian still lay dormant, trembling with power. Gareth ran to it, placed his hand against its core. I know you don't know me. I'm not your pilot, but I need you. We all do. If you can hear me, please help us for a moment. Nothing, then a flicker. A word. A thought, not his own. Yes. The second guardian rose. Its eyes flared white, and it moved with the grace of a predator. Joined the first guardian without hesitation. Together they pressed the silencer back. Rourke stared in disbelief. You're telling me you just talked that thing into waking up? Gareth didn't respond. He was focused on the battle. The silencer screamed with sound but with fury. Expanded, shifted, grew blades from its arms and struck both guardians at once. They staggered. The first guardian fell to one knee. The second reeled. Gareth ran forward without thinking. No, the silencer turned. It had seen him. It knew. The guardian surged forward, placing itself between Gareth and the enemy. The blow struck its chest. The light dimmed. It dropped to the ground, dead or dormant. Gareth didn't know. The second guardian roared. Its body flared with power, and it moved faster than thought. In a single motion, it pierced the silencer's core with an arm-turned spear. The silencer arrived. Its body unraveled in strips of shadow and light. Then it vanished, not exploded, not shattered. The silence that followed was deaf. Ran to the fallen guardian, knelt beside its shattered chest. Please, wake up. Don't do this. No response. Rourke stepped closer, eyes wide. We need to leave. That was one. There could be more. Gareth placed both hands on the guardian's face. You saved me. Now let me return the favor. He closed his eyes and reached inward. The bond flickered, weak, distant, but still there like a thread on the edge of breaking. He grasped it, pulled. Pain lanced through his skull. Memories, not his own, surged. Battles, losses, worlds burning. A vow, protect the one who dares link. Gareth whispered. I'm not done yet, and neither are you. Light flared. The guardian rose slowly, its body damaged but whole. I am with you. Always. Gareth laughed, breathless. You scared the hell out of me. You are not easily frightened. Rourke stepped back, shaking his head. You two are insane. But damn if you didn't just win the fight of the century. Gareth turned to the second guardian. It stood silent, still unbended. It bowed slightly, recognition wrist. Precked. Rourke tapped his console. Other signals are scattering. Whatever that thing was, it was a scout. The rest pulled back when it died. They know now, the Guardian said quietly. They know Earth is not defenseless. Gareth looked at the frozen horizon. No, but we're not ready either. This was just the beginning. We must find the others, the Guardian said. There are more Guardians out there, dormant, waiting. We must awaken them before the silencers. Return. Rourke groaned. You're going to drag me into this whole war, aren't you? Gareth smiled. You're already in it. Whether you like it or not, he looked at the stars, bright, cold, alive. We fight together, or we fall apart. The Guardian placed its hand on his shoulder. Then let us begin. Above them, far beyond, sight dozens of dark shapes stirred in the void. The silencers had felt the resonance of two hearts in sync, and now they would come. But so would the Guardians, and one man in a desert had become the beginning of something greater. A mechanic, a soldier on the chosen, ready for war.